Hello, dear ones. This is Dr. Sophie Miller, a medical specialist in preventive health and functional nutrition. Have you ever stopped to think that what you put on your plate might be silently compromising your memory? It's frightening, isn't it? Especially because many of these vegetables are considered healthy by most people. Surprisingly, some vegetables may be accelerating cognitive decline after the age of 60, while others have the impressive power to regenerate neural connections and protect your brain against dementia. Shall we discover together which ones they are? If you've already passed 60 or have someone dear to you in this stage of life and have noticed that it's becoming harder to remember where you left your keys, forgetting names of people you know, or losing your train of thought during conversations, I want you to know that this is not simply part of aging, as many tend to say. Your plate might be full of brain saboteurs disguised as healthy foods, and today I'm going to reveal exactly which ones they are, and more importantly, how to replace them with alternatives that will enhance your brain health. Before revealing which these vegetables are, let me explain what happens in your brain when you consume them. When we ingest certain vegetables with high levels of oxalates or poorly processed nitrates, we create a pro-inflammatory environment in the brain. These substances are capable of crossing the blood-brain barrier, a kind of protective filter for the brain, and directly interfere with the production of essential neurotransmitters like acetylcholine, which is fundamental for memory and learning. The glial cells, which are responsible for neuronal protection, become completely overloaded, leaving neurons vulnerable to oxidative stress. It's as if you were accelerating the aging of your brain cells without realizing. Let me tell you about a patient who completely changed my perspective on this subject. I met Mrs. Helen, a 72-year-old retired teacher who came to me desperate, fearing an Alzheimer's diagnosis. "Doctor, yesterday I forgot my granddaughter's name. Am I losing my mind?" she asked me with teary eyes. During our detailed consultation, I discovered something fascinating. Helen was consuming a daily green juice that included precisely the vegetables that most harm the mature brain. She was doing this believing she was taking care of her health, when, in reality, she was potentially compromising her cognition. You might be doing the same without knowing it, right? So let's look at the 5 vegetables that are potentially harming your brain and that you might consume daily, believing them to be super healthy. First, raw spinach in large quantities. Yes, the very same that Popeye taught us to love. It's very rich in oxalates which, in excess, can accumulate and cause neural inflammation. Daily consumption in green juices, like my patient Helen was doing, overloads the brain's detoxification system. Do you include raw spinach in your green juices daily? Think about that. The second is non-organic beetroot. Although it's excellent for blood pressure, it concentrates nitrates which, when in excess and from conventional sources, can convert into neurotoxic compounds, especially in older adults with compromised intestinal microbiome. And we know that, after 60, the composition of our intestinal flora changes significantly, don't we? Did you know that studies from Harvard University have shown that excessive consumption of these nitrates might be associated with accelerated cognitive decline? The third is excess raw Swiss chard. It contains substances that can inhibit the absorption of neuroprotective nutrients and interfere with the synthesis of essential neurotransmitters. Many people include it in detox juices without knowing about this potential negative effect on the mature brain. Have you noticed how after some green juices with chard you feel that foggy mind? It's not a coincidence. The fourth is conventional, meaning non-organic, watercress. Despite being extremely nutritious, When it's not organic, it can contain neurotoxic pesticide residues that accumulate in brain tissue over the years. This is particularly concerning because watercress has a great capacity to absorb these substances from the soil. Can you imagine the cumulative impact of these residues after decades of consumption? And the fifth is iceberg lettuce, that very crispy one that everyone loves in sandwiches. Surprisingly, it's the least nutritious of all lettuces, very poor in antioxidants, taking up space on your plate that could be filled with much more neuroprotective options. It's like reserving a VIP spot for a guest who brings nothing to the party, when we could have other much more interesting guests, understand? But don't worry. I have excellent news for you. Just as there are vegetables that can compromise your brain function, there are others that have the impressive power to protect and even regenerate your brain. Let's get to know them. First, we have arugula, that leaf with a slightly spicy and delicious flavor. It's incredibly rich in folate and flavonoids that stimulate the production of nitric oxide, significantly improving brain circulation and oxygen delivery to neurons. The National Institute on Aging published a study showing that regular consumption of arugula is associated with better cognitive performance in older adults. Have you included arugula in your lunch today? Second, we have kale, a true superhero of vegetables. It's an exceptional source of vitamin K and sulforaphane, a powerful compound that activates neural detoxification pathways and protects against oxidative stress. A longitudinal study with more than 950 older adults showed that those who regularly consumed kale presented a 28% lower cognitive decline over 5 years. Isn't that amazing? Can you imagine the difference that would make in your life in the coming years? Third, we have broccoli, kale's cousin, and equally powerful. It contains bioactive compounds that reduce neural inflammation and, this is fascinating, stimulate neurogenesis, which is the birth of new neurons even after age 60. For a long time, we believed we wouldn't generate new neurons after a certain age, but today, we know that it is possible, and broccoli can help in this process. Can you imagine what it would be like to recover some of the mental agility you had years ago? Fourth, we have purple lettuce, often forgotten but extremely valuable. It's rich in anthocyanins, pigments with powerful antioxidant action that protect neuronal membranes and improve synaptic communication. The color is an indicator of its potency. The more intense the purple coloration, the greater the benefits. Have you noticed how rare it is to find purple lettuce in restaurants? It's worth looking for or growing at home. And finally, fifth, we have parsley, that herb that many use only as decoration, but which should be consumed in greater quantity. It contains apigenin, a flavonoid that has demonstrated in laboratory studies the impressive ability to prevent the formation of amyloid plaques, characteristic of Alzheimer's disease. Have you thought about adding a generous handful of chopped parsley to your soup or salad? Now, let me tell you what happened with my patient Helen. 3 months after adjusting her diet, replacing the problematic vegetables with protective ones, she sent me an emotional video. Doctor, Sophie, yesterday I completed an entire crossword puzzle without looking anything up. I didn't forget any names at my husband's birthday party. It's as if a fog had lifted from my mind. The transformation wasn't just in memory. Her energy increased significantly, her sleep improved tremendously, and that sensation of foggy mind she constantly reported simply disappeared. And the most impressive thing? All this without medications, just by replacing brain saboteurs with neuroprotective vegetables. You must be wondering, and now do I have to completely eliminate spinach and the other vegetables from the negative list? Fortunately, that's not necessary. The secret is in proper preparation and moderation. For example, lightly cook spinach to significantly reduce oxalates, choose organic and preferably fermented beetroots, and balance your plate, ensuring that the neuroprotective vegetables are always present in greater quantity. Let me share a simple trick that I teach my patients. Follow the 3 shades of green rule. Always include 3 vegetables of different shades on the same plate, prioritizing those from the protective list. The variation in colors ensures a broader spectrum of neuroprotective compounds. Also remember that variety is fundamental. Our body and brain respond better when we don't always consume the same things. Based on recent studies from Harvard University and the National Institute on Aging, the simple substitution of certain vegetables can reduce the risk of accelerated cognitive decline by up to 32%. For a brain at 60, 70, or 80 years old, this change not only preserves mental function, but can even partially reverse it. Can you imagine what this means in practice? It's the difference between remembering your grandchildren's birthdays or forgetting them, between maintaining your independence or needing help for basic activities, between continuing to learn new things or being stuck in the past. The difference between keeping your memories intact or gradually losing them might be in the conscious choice of vegetables you put on your plate today. Your mature brain deserves this care, don't you think? The good news is that it's never too late to start. Neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to reorganize and form new connections, remains active throughout life. If this video helped you or someone you love, don't forget to like it, share it with those who need this information, and subscribe to the channel for more content about brain health and well-being. In the description of this video, I've left a complete guide with practical recipes using the neuroprotective vegetables I mentioned. Download it for free and start transforming your brain health today. Remember, your brain commands everything in your life, from your most precious memories to your ability to continue living independently. Take care of it with the same affection with which you care for those you love. I'm Dr. Sophie Miller, and I'm here to help you live longer and better with all your memories intact. Until the next video.